The Russian army has deployed its new units for ongoing military exercises in Belarus. At the same time, the Speaker of the State Border Service of Ukraine, Andriy Demchenko, notes that the situation on the border with Belarus is under control.
Of course, this direction is quite tense because Belarus does not stop supporting Russia in the war that it unleashed against our country and provides both its territory and airspace. There are constant exercises between the units of the Russian Federation and Belarus. Those units that had already passed the drills were transferred back to the territory of Russia, to be subsequently transferred to the areas where hostilities would take place. New Russian military units entered the territory of Belarus to conduct these exercises and prepare. Andriy Demchenko, spokesperson of the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine, on air of the national telethon.
Today, the situation on the front line remains unchanged, the General Staff said. Since the beginning of a full-scale war, Ukrainian soldiers have already eliminated about 127,000 Russian invaders. As for the enemy equipment, the armed forces of Ukraine have destroyed at least 3,200 tanks, almost 6,400 armored combat vehicles, and more than 2,000 artillery systems.
The enemy is conducting offensive operations in the Liman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka and Novopavlovsk directions. In other directions, Russia defends. The units of the defense forces have repulsed the attacks of the Russian occupiers in the areas of the settlements of Bilogorivka, Luhansk region, and Yampilivka, Rozdolivka, Vasyukivka, Paraskovivka, Bakhmut, Ivanivske, Klishchivka, Kurdymivka, and Ozaryanivka, Donetsk region.
The threat of massive missile strikes remains. Explosions are heard in Zaporizhia, Kherson and Kharkiv regions every day. According to the head of the Joint Coordinated Press Center of the Defense Forces of the South of Ukraine, Natalia Humanyuk, Russia can shell Ukraine targeted in between massive missile attacks. The goal is to deplete the Ukrainian air defense. Therefore, kamikaze drones are launched first and only then rockets. Now, even after massive missile attacks, when everyone is already used to the fact that you can take a particular pause of 10-12 days while they are preparing, the enemy never sleeps and has begun to terrorize us with such small air attacks. They monitor and see the effectiveness of our air defense, which has increased up to 75-80% in countering precisely their massive missile attacks. They are looking for tactics when they can reduce this percentage of our air defense countermeasures. Natalia Humanyuk, head of the Joint Coordinated Press Center of the Defense Forces of South of Ukraine, on air of the national telethon. Russia is preparing for a second offensive in the near future. Military experts have repeatedly stated that over the past months, and world leaders are sure that the next weeks can be decisive in the confrontation with the Russian aggressor.
We see that they are preparing for more war, mobilizing more soldiers, more than 200,000 and potentially even more, that they are actively ramping up weapons and ammunition. Jens Stoltenberg, Secretary General of NATO, during a speech at the Che Institute for Advanced Study in Seoul.
To deter the aggressor, Ukraine urgently needs heavy weapons. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly stated. Recall that the countries of Europe and the United States allocated a new package of military assistance based on the result of negotiations in the Ramstein format. Ukraine will receive American M1 Abrams tanks, Leopard 2 tanks and other weapons.
The United States has worked in lockstep with our allies and partners around the world to make sure the Ukrainian people are in the strongest possible position to defend their nation, their families, and against the truly brutal aggression of Russia. We haven't seen the likes of this in a long time. The United States and Europe are fully united.
This spring, Ukraine is planning a big counteroffensive, and the fighting along the entire front line will be the hottest, the head of Ukrainian intelligence Kyrylo Budanov announced earlier. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.